Well, I'll tell you, I've been listening to Van Morrison lately. He never fails to inspire me, and gosh, he just never disappoints. That voice, first of all, I mean, forget the part about being a great songwriter and all that, but his voice is unforgettable to me. I think they used to call him the Belfast Cowboy. I'm not trying to remember, but today I wanted to make a bit of a deep dive into the song Tupelo Honey, because I was listening to that today and I thought, although on the record, the piano, bass, and drums sort of lead the charge. I know there's a little sax on there too. I think he plays the saxophone on that one too. He's just got a great sense of melody and a unique approach. So I wanted to break this song down. It's capo 3rd fret, okay? So in case you want to play along with the record. So one way to do it, the chords that are involved are G, B minor, C, and D. Okay. Now the way the song goes is, and I'll show you like a really simple way to play it, and then I'll give you a couple of alternate versions. So if you want to go really simple, just do a 2-beat on each one, just 2 downstrokes, and then hit your B minor chord, and C, back to G. And take it real slow at first, right? Really easy strum, right? And then up to your D. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, just like honey, baby, to the bees. Okay, so that's one way to play it. That would be probably the most basic. And if you have trouble with that B minor, some people do, there's many ways to play that chord. One way would be just to play the highest 4 strings, these notes here. But if you do it that way, try and be accurate with your lead in to that chord. Make sure you don't hit the A string or the E string, because it's going to sound weird. Oops. You should start with your D string. Now another way to do it would be to finger the 2nd fret with the 1st finger and just play the A, D, G, and B string. That's an option as well. Voicing's slightly different. So this one here, you get that high note, that 2nd fret of the. And if you want to, you can go ahead and add this 2nd fret on the A string and get that full, which is nice. And that's going to lead us into what I'm about to show you. And then you go to the C and back to the G. And second time goes G, B minor, C to D. That's pretty much the whole song. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more sophisticated, you can do like this sort of sound. Now let's break down that strum pattern, shall we? So I'm giving you like a 2 on the low strings. It's a little different than just, which is the most basic. Then secondly would be, and then doing an upstroke at the end. So it's sounds kind of weird to slow it down like that. But the way it sounds if you play it in time, it actually flows pretty good, so check it out. A little upstroke if you want it. What I noticed is if you're playing those chords, and this happens with a lot of songs, there might be a time where you actually hit all the open strings on the way up to each chord, so it'd be sort of like this. Get it? And it's okay. It works. So what am I doing there? I'm going, and then, so that sounds weird slow again. Okay, I'm emphasizing that open string part, which I normally wouldn't do. Sort of a passing move, but it gives you that little second that you need to change the chord. So check it out. She's as sweet as Tupelo Honey. She's an angel of the first degree, up to the G chord. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, yeah. Just like honey, baby. Now I choose to emphasize that C chord. And if you listen to the record, there's actually quite a bit of lead guitar on there, I think, going along with the sax solo. And I'm going to show you some little moves to put in there. I call them, connective tissue or whatever, little in-betweeners. Now, what you can do there is, knowing that we have those two basic rhythm styles to do whatever's comfortable for you. And again, on that B minor, if you, for some reason you can't get that note involved, I mean, you can actually hit all of them if you want. I would generally lead with the root tone. Okay, so what could we play in between there? Well, if I was playing this solo, I think I've done this a few times. What am I doing there? I'm working off of the D string and the G string. I'm doing a hammer-on, second fret of the D string. Sorry, hammer-on. And then I'm letting that G ring out. So it sounds like this. In slow motion. So there's a little kind of a little intro like to it. You can do that whenever you feel like it. And then again, it's the same hammer-on the D string. So it goes from this, that's the first lick, and then when you get to the C chord, got it? Okay, I'm going to play the whole thing really slow, and then I'll do it up to tempo and see what happens. There's your C chord. So that lick is... up to a D. Just let that ring out. Little variation, right? Just like honey, baby. Sorry. Just like honey, baby. So now I've given you a couple different ways to approach the rhythm groove, depending on your comfortability factor. A couple ways to play the B minor chord, okay? Again, depending on what's comfortable for you, because it's not going to make sense if you have trouble getting the chords spelled out. Got to find a way to do it that's good for you. And then as you progress as a player, sure, you can add on other notes or other little licks. And don't even worry about all this fancy stuff I'm showing you, all this. It's nice. Common kind of country blues look. These are all just like little, licks to put in between. All those little hammer-ons. They're nice, but they're not necessary. Now, you might be a person where singing is your strong point. There's a lot of people I teach. They may happen to have really good voices, but their guitar playing is honestly not quite up to the level of their singing. In which case, you might need to keep it really, really simple and just took all the tea in China. Put it in a big brown bag for me. Drop it off in the deep blue ocean. In the deep blue sea. Then you can mute it. That's done with the right hand. I just gave a little lesson on that. Just laying, keeping the heel of my hand on the bass strings. That's like a sort of a dynamic trick. Hear that? As opposed to, well, check it out. Adds a little bit of drama to the whole thing. Now you can take all the tea in China, put it in a big brown bag for me. Sail it around seven oceans. Drop it straight into the deep blue sea. So all those little licks I'm showing you, and all that, just hammer-ons off of C, right? It's going on the D and the G string. But when you do it in conjunction with a chord, with a C chord, it becomes, makes the whole song a little more compelling, I think, and adds some flavor. I call it special sauce. So there's Van Morrison. I'm a big fan of Van Morrison for lots of different reasons. I've had the pleasure of seeing him live a few times. Gosh, I'm trying to think of the first time I saw Van live was in the Bay Area in San Anselmo at a place called the Lion's Share. And my buddy, my partner, songwriting partner, and a guy I've played with for years, Ozzy Allers, great keyboardist and songwriter. He came out here from Woodstock in '71 with Van. So I got a chance to, watch those guys at work and got some great stories that I'm not going to share with you right now. But anyway, thanks for coming by and checking out my channel here. And I'm having a good time just sitting up in my studio in Santa Cruz, California. And we just got back from a little tour. I was over in Hawaii playing for a couple of weeks. And we traveled all around the islands. It was great. It's really fun. All right, well, we'll see you down the road, and let's see what comes up next. I'm not sure what I'm going to teach next because I never know till I do it. We'll see you.